The day my father took away my gym membership, I felt like he ripped my dream right out of my hands. He said, "The gym is a waste of time. You'll thank me later." But I didn't thank him. Instead, I made a decision that would change both of our lives forever. I was 19 when I first fell in love with the gym. The clang of weights, the sweat dripping down my back, the rush of pushing past my limits, this was where I felt alive. But to my father, it was nothing but a distraction. He wanted me to focus only on studies, on serious work, on building a career the way he imagined it. But I had a vision of my own, to compete, to transform my body, and maybe one day to become a fitness trainer and inspire others. Every morning before class, I would sneak out at 6 a.m., hit the gym, and return home before he even noticed. I was building strength not just in my muscles, but in my soul. Until one day, he found out. I came home sweaty and smiling after deadlifting my new personal record, only to find him waiting with my membership card in his hand. His voice was cold. "This ends today. I canceled it. You're not going back there." My heart sank. I thought he was joking, but when I rushed to the gym the next day, the receptionist looked at me with pity. "Sorry, your membership's been revoked." That moment, I felt betrayed. Not just because he took away a card, but because he didn't believe in me. But here's the part he didn't know. You can take away my gym, but you can't take away my will. That night, I made a decision. If my father thought he could stop me, he was about to see just how wrong he was. The next morning, I sat at breakfast across from my father. He sipped his coffee calmly as if he hadn't just destroyed my world. I clenched my fists under the table, trying not to explode. Finally, I asked, "Why did you do it? Why take the one thing that makes me happy?" He didn't even look up. Because happiness doesn't build your future. Degrees do, jobs do, stability does. The gym will never pay your bills. Those words cut deeper than any weight I'd ever lifted. He didn't see my dream. He didn't see me. That day, I went to my room, shut the door, and stared at myself in the mirror. I wasn't just angry, I was determined. If my father thought the gym was a waste, I'd prove him wrong. I started training at home. Push-ups on the floor, pull-ups on the old doorframe, squats with a backpack full of books. My room became my battlefield. For weeks, I built myself up in silence. No machines, no trainers, no fancy equipment, just raw grit. But the real test came when my father walked in on me one night. I was drenched in sweat, struggling through my 200th push-up. He stared, shocked, then shook his head. "Still wasting time," he scoffed. I looked him dead in the eyes. "No, I'm building something you'll never understand." His jaw tightened. For the first time, I saw a flicker of doubt in his face. And then, just when I thought I was making progress, something happened that turned my father's doubt into full-blown anger.
One evening, I returned home after running laps around the block. My lungs burned, my legs trembled, but I felt alive, stronger. As I stepped into the living room, I noticed something strange. My father was standing by the trash can. Inside, I saw my resistance bands, water bottles, and even the backpack I used for weighted squats. "What are you doing?" I shouted. He looked at me coldly. "Cleaning up your nonsense. If I cut the roots now, maybe you'll finally grow in the right direction." I froze. My own father, sabotaging me. It wasn't about my future anymore. It was about control. I lunged for the trash, pulling my things out with shaking hands. My father grabbed my wrist. "Listen to me, son. You'll thank me someday. You're throwing your life away." I yanked free and looked him straight in the eyes. "No, you're the one who threw something away, the chance to support me." His face turned red with fury. For a moment, I thought he would strike me. Instead, he stormed out of the room and slammed the door so hard the walls shook. That night, lying in the dark, I realized this was more than just a battle for my gym membership. This was a battle for who I was allowed to be. I whispered to myself, if I can't train with his support, I'll train in spite of it. But little did I know, the very next week, a competition flyer would land in my hands, and it would set me on a collision course with my father like never before. A week later, I was leaving school when a brightly colored flyer caught my eye on the bulletin board. Youth Strength Challenge, local gym contest, prizes and recognition for top athletes. My heart skipped. This was my chance, not just to prove my strength, but to prove myself. I tore the flyer down and stuffed it into my bag before anyone could see. That night in my room, I stared at it under the dim glow of my desk lamp. Fear and excitement warred inside me. If I signed up, my father would find out. He'd rage, forbid me, maybe even throw me out. But if I didn't, I'd always wonder if I could have made it. I clenched my fist. I'm doing this, no matter what. The next morning before school, I secretly registered online using the library computer. My heart pounded as the confirmation email appeared. Welcome, competitor. For the next few weeks, I trained in silence. Push-ups before dawn, sprints after dinner. I lifted anything I could find. Buckets of water, concrete blocks, even old tires behind the garage. But secrets don't stay buried forever. One evening, my father burst into my room holding an envelope. "What's this?" he demanded. My blood ran cold. It was the confirmation letter. The gym had mailed it to our house. "You signed up for this garbage?" he roared, his face red with fury. I swallowed hard, but my voice didn't shake. "Yes, and I'm going to compete, with or without you." For the first time in my life, I saw something flicker in his eyes. Not anger, not control, but fear. As if my defiance threatened the very foundation of the power he held over me. He ripped the paper in half and threw it on the floor. "Over my dead body will you embarrass this family." But little did he know, I had already found an ally in the most unexpected place. Someone who would make sure I got to that stage, no matter what.
The night my father tore up that letter, I thought everything was over. My chest burned with rage and despair, but deep down, a stubborn fire refused to go out. The next day at school, I dragged myself through the halls, exhausted from another night of silent training. Then, as I opened my locker, I found something folded neatly inside. It was a new competition flyer with a handwritten note on the back. "Don't give up. Meet me after school by the track. Coach Daniels." My heart stopped. Coach Daniels was the gym teacher, a man known for pushing athletes hard but caring for them even harder. I'd never told him about my father or the contest. How did he know? After school, I nervously approached him. He stood by the track, arms crossed, waiting. "I saw the fire in you," he said without preamble, "and I saw the bruises too. You think I don't notice? Your father may try to break you, but I can help build you." For the first time in months, maybe years, I felt hope. Coach Daniels offered me secret training sessions at the school gym. He'd leave the back door open in the evenings, and together we worked. Weights, form, discipline. He became the father figure I had always needed but never had. Every rep, every drop of sweat was a rebellion. I was no longer just lifting weights. I was lifting myself out of fear. But good things don't stay hidden forever. One evening, as I was racking the barbell after a brutal session, the gym door slammed open. My father stormed in, his face twisted with rage. "So this is where you've been sneaking off to," he bellowed, pointing a trembling finger at me. My stomach dropped. Coach Daniels stepped forward, blocking him. "He has every right to be here. He's got talent, and I won't let you destroy it." My father's voice was ice. "Stay out of this. He's my son." And then, silence. Everyone froze. Because in that moment, for the first time in my life, I realized something. Maybe being his son wasn't a prison after all. Maybe I could choose to stop being his son. The competition day arrived. My hands trembled as I wrapped the straps around my wrists. The gymnasium buzzed with noise, spectators, athletes, and judges. But for me, everything faded except the barbell in front of me. Coach Daniels gave me a reassuring nod. "This is your moment. Forget him. Lift for yourself." But then, as I was about to step onto the platform, I saw him, my father, standing in the crowd, arms crossed, eyes like steel. The same eyes that had watched me fail for years, the same voice that had told me I'd never be enough. The announcer called my name. My legs shook as I walked up. I gripped the bar. I could almost hear his voice again in my head. "You're weak. You'll embarrass yourself. You're not my son." I closed my eyes. Then I remembered Coach's words. I remembered the nights of training in secret, the pain, the fire, the choice I'd made. And for the first time, I didn't hear my father's voice anymore. I heard my own. "I am not your failure. I am my own strength." I pulled. My body screamed. My arms shook. Every ounce of doubt tried to drag the weight back down. But then, like lightning, I pushed through. The bar locked above my head. The crowd roared. I dropped the weight, chest heaving, as the judge raised the white flag. A clean lift. I had done it. Coach Daniels grabbed my shoulders, pride blazing in his eyes. "That's what I'm talking about." But when I looked back into the crowd, my father was gone. No congratulations, no words. Just an empty space where he had stood. And that's when I realized something shocking. I didn't need his approval anymore. His absence was the proof. The man who walked out was no longer my father. Because that night, under those blinding lights, I had finally adopted myself.